Hey, how you doing? Welcome to, my goodness, the final night here, Nights of Halloween Rockin' Boxes presents. How are you guys doing? What a successful new series that we came out with this week, guys.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome
And of
to,
course,
my goodness,
I knew that was going to happen.
Here, Nights of Halloween
Yeah, that's
Rockin'
okay.
Boxes presents. How are you guys doing?
There we go. Shut up, Sean. There we go. Let's do it right. So, please welcome, guys, from Return of the Living Dead. Look at this brain injury. It's really got me spun in a tizzy. And Return of the Living Dead, Friday the 13th, Part 6. Thom Mathews, welcome to Rockin' Boxes Presents. Oh, my gosh. Thank you very much for being here.
Oh, my God. My pleasure. So time of year, guys.
It certainly is. It certainly is. So listen, you were really busy this past weekend. You want to let everybody know what was going on, or not really?
Yeah, I was out in New Jersey, and we were doing the Chiller Theater Convention. It was a lot of fun, mixed crowd, it had really good turnout, and the weather stayed with us until the last day where it kind of stormed a little bit. It made it a little hard to get out, but we had a blast, great crowd. Great turnout. It was met everybody there, said hi to a lot of the fans, and it was very exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. You have a lot of Friday the 13th fans that were really looking forward to coming and meeting you, this evening. Sorry about the glitch, guys. This, this sometimes isn't foolproof whenever it comes to the Google Hangout, but I'm glad that the viewers are here. Jason belongs in hell. Well, okay, we'll get to all your stuff later, guys. But you can keep commenting. That's fine. And someone was going, brains. So, so we want to get into, my mom watched you as a young guy being in the show Dynasty and Falcon Crest religiously. I just want to touch a little bit on that. What was it like being on two very popular TV shows?
Well, actually, that's how I got my SAG card. I was looking over Lorimar Productions, and they had the Falcon Crest, and they had Dallas, and Knots Landing, and one other show I can't remember, but Doris Saba was cast in Falcon Crest, and she gave me a walk-on, so that I got my SAG card that way. And it's funny because that Chiller, I saw Charlie Tilton from Dallas. She was at one of the tables, so that was a lot of fun to see her there and catch up and stuff. And then I went on auditions and stuff, and I did a bit on Dynasty. I was only on there for two shows and played a secretary. The second episode, if you'll notice, it's so long ago, my God, but they had to loop my voice because I was doing Return of the Living Dead at the time, so I couldn't go in for the ADR because they had some troubles with the sound there, apparently. But my voice is much deeper in that show. It was very funny.
That's wicked. I really just wanted to touch on that because that's where you pretty much started. And then after that, from your TV series, you went on to doing films. So talk about being, casted for your first film, Return of the Living Dead.
Well, actually, my first film part that I ever got was in The Woman in Red.
Oh, Woman in Red. I'm sorry. Right. That's right. I'm
okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. It was a bit part. I mean, if you blink your eyes, you probably wouldn't see me. But I was in that, and then shortly after that, I landed the part. It was a very long process, though, for Return of the Living Dead, because there's some legal issues with the title and the name and stuff like that.
Right. And what were so when there was issues with that, I mean, what did somebody have the rights to it, or someone else, or?
I think someone thought they had the rights to it.
Okay, so I guess that was a long-standing battle. I mean, when it came to the whole getting it up on the silver screen, I guess.
Yeah, well, it wasn't. I mean, I auditioned for it, and then 9 months later, they called me back in, and I thought it had gone away at that point. And the next day, I know they're casting me with my girlfriend. They're trying to cast a girl who Beverly Randolph ended up getting, who was very good in the show. And so that's kind of, and then we were off to the races. And then Dan did a really smart thing. He had everyone rehearse, all the kids rehearsed together for about 2 weeks. Everyone that was cast at the time get in and run lines and stuff like that, and run the scenes, and you know, it was very crucial, I think, for everyone to get to know each other and, you know, get to know each other and hang out and stuff.
For sure. So I've interviewed Tom Morga and Steve Dash, both stuntmen. I'd like to know, was there any stunt work that you did on the film, or did you have a stunt double? Because there was the one shot where you're shoved into the back of a pew in the church, where the guy comes in the room and you're shoved into the back of that pew. Was that a stunt double, or was that you?
That was the only stunt guy. Yeah, they didn't want to take a chance on me breaking my back, so they had him do that. And then, but he busted through the door going down the hallway, and everything else was me. Actually, my last scene in Return of the Living Dead, where I bust through the attic and get Tina and Don Califa, God rest his soul. I hit open the attic door, and the thing that was holding it closed came down and crashed me on the head. And I ended up having to go to the hospital. But other than that, everything was fine, you know. I could barely, going down the hallway, the prosthetics on my eyes was very vision restriction, let's say, and so it made it tough. But everything worked out. I'm a very physical guy. You know, I did a lot of sports as a kid, and enjoy the physicality of any role.
Yeah, for sure. So being like a horror kind of flick, a horror-omedy, if you will, was there any outtakes that something that stands, you know, resonate, like that just has stuck with you, or that was really fun on set? I mean, I know it was a long time ago, but something that was fun that you could share with us that happened?
Something that, well, you know, the thing I was talking about, when we cut off the yellow corpse's head after we let him out of the fridge, out of the freezer, there's that scene where we cut his head off and we're like holding him down. We shot that at 6 o'clock in the morning, so that was kind of tough. To get the juices flowing at that early in the morning, but it was you know, it was fun. I had a great time on the whole production. The whole cast was great, and there weren't any problems.
Oh yeah, and what was it like when you first read the script? What went through your mind when you first read the script? Were you like,
oh? Well, I didn't get the comedy at all, and but you know, I think the best comedy comes out of reality. So, you know, we totally that's so great, because it just you're laughing at the situation that we got ourselves into, and everything that transpired. That's what made it so great. You know, it was a true dark comedy.
Right on. So I'm just having some lady fingers and the blood's just dripping off. It's awesome. So you go on to film Dangerously Close to Friday the 13th Part 6. You play Tommy Jarvis. We all know Tommy spent time in a psych facility, and you know, everybody's seen Friday the 13th Part 6, and so you know, when you did the film, did you watch Friday the 13th Part 5 and how John Shepherd was in the film? You know, just to get sort of a backstory of how you needed to act for Friday the 13th Part 6 at all, or I'm always curious about that.
I actually did. I did my research, and I looked at all of them upcoming to Part 5, because that was the last one that was out, and to see if there's some kind of mannerism that Corey did or John did that I could tap into to kind of have a thread through for the character of Tommy Jarvis. I didn't really necessarily find anything, but I did watch it.
Yeah, that's it was a kind of an interesting movie. I mean, there was no Jason because of Part 4. He was actually dead. And so what was your take on Tom McLaughlin? We spoke a little bit about this, on Jason actually being, you know, coming back from the dead with a bolt of lightning striking the you know, the stone and going right through to his body and bringing him back. How did you feel about what was your feeling about the whole script and how Jason was brought back? I mean, I thought it was brilliant, to be quite honest.
Yeah, well, Tom's a huge horror fan, and he incorporated all the things that he grew up in, a lot of the things that he grew up watching as a child into the film. And he just, you know, he had certain marks that he had to make, but he made a great film from beginning, middle, and the end. And the photography looked great, and the story was great, and it was just really pulled it together. The opening sequence is just one of my favorites. Even before the credits even start to roll, a lot happens, and Ron, God rest his soul, was really great and sweet. I grew up watching him, so I was a fan of his. It was so great to work with him. But that opening sequence is just fantastic, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really bizarre. Part 3 is one of my favorites, but I think Part 6 takes precedence. I don't know why. There's just something like Tom and we spoke about it, the comedy of it in it. There's certain things, you know, because his sense of humor is just off the wall. Like he's just a fantastic guy, and I'm glad we had him on this week, and we had the chance to chat about it. But yeah, his comedy was fantastic. When when you went to the screening, I mean, was there chuckles and laughs because you guys were on set and you remembered certain things from what went on during the filming?
Oh my, I don't remember. I remember the screening. I don't remember what happened in the screening. It was so long ago.
Oh yeah, no, hey, understandably. Well, that's good. At least I asked you a question. I don't know if anybody's ever asked you that question, so that's kind of good.
No, nobody has.
So the conditions were so wet that you guys, you know, were outside. Did you trip and fall at all during any of the shooting of it? And how was CJ? Like, I mean, there's the part where Horace comes up and hits him with the, you know, the shovel on the back of the head and stuff. I mean, did you guys slip and slide at all? Was it really wet? How are the conditions? Let's just cut to the chase.
The conditions, we shot in Georgia in a town called Covington, and it was a really beautiful area. And it was, I remember one of the local crews saying it's going to rain, and then 5 minutes later it rained, and it rained for 5 minutes like I've never seen it rain before in my life. It was in the South, and the raindrops were as big as baseballs. And it came down. They covered the camera because they knew it was going to rain, and then it was fire. It just like passed through really fast. But during the opening sequence, nobody slipped or fell or anything. I did slip and fall a little bit when I'm running away from the sheriff going through the graveyard. And it's a historical grave site. So, and normally when you're running away from someone, you take the shortest distance from A to B. But because it's historical, we had a path we had to follow. And that's why I'm jig-jagging around everywhere. And one of the turns, I think I slipped a little bit, but nothing too bad.
Yeah, yeah. Now, throughout the movie, what was your relationship with Jennifer Cook? Okay, I have to say this. There was the scene in you know, when the music comes, Long Hot Summer, or, you know, by Alice Cooper. I'm sorry if I screwed up that name, Alice, or for the song. But you guys, your head ducks down, and I don't know, what was your that was you, obviously, between her legs. I'm sorry, and you're going back and forth. I mean, how did you feel about that? Were you uncomfortable? How was Jennifer like? Just go ahead and do whatever. Sorry, you know.
I wasn't comfortable. I didn't really understand it, but I was hiding from the deputy. So yeah, I mean, whenever you're in someone's crotch, it gets a little uncomfortable for the most part.
Yeah, yeah.
And she was cool. She was a pro. You know, she was really great about it. everything.
Yeah.
Everything worked out. Do I look comfortable? I looked a little uncomfortable in the movie, I think.
All right, we'll move on. It was, you know, as a young guy, you know, when you're growing up. Anyway, yeah. So,
Sure.
so you know, you're in the boat, and you know, this is the final part of the movie, and you know, you're probably damp because of being out there and whatnot, and then you know, you get a little bit soaked because Jason's in the boat fighting with you. I know CJ is out there and he's pulling you in, and I spoke to CJ about it, and you know, I asked him how they actually did the push where he came up on the boat and pulled you under. But how did you you know, how was that for you? And I mean, was there a count whenever they said, you know, CJ's going to pounce out of the water, or you know, did you know when he was going to do it, or was it an element of surprise kind of thing, or you just
you know
like?
What? They had a stunt guy who CJ jumped on and went down with the boat.
Oh, that was a oh, okay, all right. So there you go. That was a stunt guy. I didn't. That's good.
Yeah. I
didn't know that. Yeah. I don't remember from our conversation with CJ, but yeah.
Yeah, all the underwater stuff was him and I in a pool in California.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We were underwater for, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes at a time. The scuba guys were off camera, and then whenever we needed oxygen, we would just pound on our chests, and they would come over and put the mouthpiece in our mouth.
That's right, the regulator. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we would carry on.
And you know, so what was it like to work with CJ? You know, he's such a great guy and very professional. And you know, was he delicate with you? Was he? Did you just say, "Okay, just give it to me," and then just, you know, when you guys were fighting?
He wasn't an ass. No, he was.
I love it.
As you know, CJ's the nicest guy in the world. He was, you know, he was great. He was awesome. You know, we hung out a little bit. We hang out more nowadays because I see him at conventions every now and again, maybe a couple a year, and always great to see him. We always catch up, and he's just, you know, I think the world of him. He's a great guy.
Oh yeah, what a fantastic guy. We're working with CJ, and he's phenomenal. You know, him and Ruby are just, I love them both, and yeah, they're great people. So I just wanted to ask you about letters, the letters for Dad.
Yeah, Letter to Dad.
Letter to Dad. Thank you. Talk a little bit about it and tell us what it's about, and you know, I never really caught it. Jerry Potter, Jerry Potter, he was asking about. He wanted me to ask you about it. If you would just give the people out there a little bit of backstory on that movie.
Well, it's about this guy who grows up and has a dysfunctional relationship with women, and you kind of look back on his life, and you reflect back on his life, and when he's a little kid, and all the things that went on in the house. His dad was an alcoholic, and you know, was very aggressive, and ended up leaving them. And it was him and his mom, and then he ended up going into construction, and he buys buildings, and he fixes them up, and he meets this girl, and he's having trouble with her, so he writes this letter to his dad, and that's how it begins. I mean, and then you go backwards in the movie, and then you show the love story between the guy, my character, and the girl that I'm in love with, but I can't commit to her. And I have a confrontation with my father, who's played by John Ashton, who's great in it.
Love John. Love John.
That movie, if you go look at it, the guy who produced it and wrote it, or partially write credits on it, he lost money, and his name was Dan. He ended up committing suicide.
Oh wow!
And yeah, so for 15 years the movie was never released.
Jeez.
And it went back to the director. He got it, and we added an ending to it 15 years later. The girl, my girlfriend at the time, who I was pursuing, the last scene, we're married, we have a child, and John Ashton's there, and the four of us are walking, but it's literally shot 15 years later.
Wow.
So that's kind of an interesting story for that movie.
Wow. That's, wow, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Jeez. Huh. Interesting.
Reason enough to go see it. Yeah, it's pretty interesting story.
Yeah,
it's
no.
It's a movie. People like it.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing that, and I'm definitely going to go watch it now. And I apologize that I never watched it. It's been a crazy week for me.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you've done so much work. You know, it's after 1987, Down Twisted, Mr. President, up to 1988 when you did Return of the Living Dead 2. Now, I have a question.
I shot Down. I had.
Oh, go ahead.
Very rarely does this happen, but I had two movies back to back.
Okay.
I shot Down Twisted in Mexico, and then I flew up to Georgia to go shoot Friday the 13th right after that. I had like 2 days off, and then I was gone.
Jeez, eh? Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was kind of fun. Because as actors, you never think you're ever going to work again. So that was
well.
a unique situation for me at the time.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I guess it's who you know, or who likes whatever you've done, and it, like I said, you go on IMDb for your IMDb, and it's pretty. You've got a lot of stuff on there, a lot of credits to your name for sure. Then we move up to 1988 when you did Return of the Living Dead 2. I have a question. So in part one, you played the role of Freddy. That was your name, but on IMDb for part 2. You play the role of Joey. That's two different names. How did
How did that happen?
Yeah. Like, why didn't?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
It was magic.
It was magic.
Well, as you know, at the end, everyone gets nuked. They nuked us.
Yeah.
In the part 1.
Right.
So everyone died. So the only reason we were brought back in part 2 is because when they went to go, they try and pre-sell the concept, the movie, Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Part 1 was a huge success in Japan.
Okay.
So the distributor said, yes, we'll give you the money for Part 2, but you have to have Thom Mathews and Jimmy Karen come back and reprise their roles in it.
Nice.
So that's how we came back in Part 2.
Oh, well, there you go. So for all of y'all out there, now you guys know. That's amazing. The makeup on both movies were, was it a long process for certain things? I mean, you were throwing up at points. You had lots, the prosthetic, like, for the various scenes. How long were you in makeup? Like, would you say, like?
Part 1 was great because it was a slow, demise, a slow, very slow death, and it was a process over the whole movie, which was great. It's just a little more makeup here, and blood, I got rigor mortis, and I stopped breathing, and stuff like that. And then at the end, when they threw the acid in my eyes, that probably took the most time to put the prosthetic on my eyes and put the makeup on after that. But those are, those times for me, I really cherish those, because those are the times when we were in the makeup chair, Jimmy Karen and I, and he's just a wonderful man. He had such great stories. He really took me under his wing, and he was on Broadway. He's done a lot of work, and just the stories. It was just really a lot of fun. If I was a producer, I would have hired him just to have him around, because his energy is just so infectious. It was just a positive, energy to have around a set at any time. He was just happy to be there and working, and he's very talented.
Oh, absolutely. Again, just having a lady finger. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's why I wish I had a. I wish I. So, like I said, you've worked on many projects. So, this year alone was amazing for you because, you did the video game, Friday the 13th, the video game, and we got to see the reprise or, you know, Tommy Jarvis back in a video game, and how much fun and how much, you know, the experience of that all, how was that? And by the way, Kane Hodder, like all these guys were, everybody was on it. So did you guys all, were you guys together at points, or were you guys all separate, or?
We were all separate. They had a meeting. So I was brought back after the fact. The fans wanted my character to go, Tommy Jarvis, to come back. I think it was an afterthought, actually, just because all the fans were requesting that Tommy Jarvis be involved in it somehow. Because it was kind of, you know, it was kind of that 80s horror vibe around the camp and the campers, so it kind of fed right into that. So I never really saw anybody, and I'm sure Kane saw a few people, and Tom Savini and stuff like that. I remember seeing the Jumpstarter page or something, where they all were hanging out and having a meeting and talking about, you know, what we were going to do. I wasn't part of that because of the fact that I was Tommy Jarvis was an afterthought, I think, because the fans wanted him. And then I show up with a shotgun, and I'm watching part 6, and I'm thinking, where did I get a shotgun in the game? And then I saw my scene in the sheriff's office where, well, he had shotguns in the sheriff's office, so I kind of linked that together for me. But it was fun. It was fun. I did all the boofing, and they kept sending me images to approve of my face in the game, and we went back about 5 or 6 times because originally they had me. I had dark hair and a 5 o'clock shadow, and I said, guys, I don't even have a 5 o'clock shadow now. I'm a grown man. So we light the hair, put the eyes together. The chin, you know, I had Jay Leno's chin originally. We kind of made that more proportionate to what I looked like in part 6 at the time. So it was fun. I had a blast doing it.
Oh, that's awesome. So can you just describe for some of the people some of the different things you went through electronically? I know I saw some of the things on Kane whenever he had you know, he had like some patches on him and stuff for movements and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, voiceovers and whatnot. What did like? I mean, that's what you had to do, obviously. How fun was that? Like the whole experience, you know, being attached to an electronic machine.
Actually, I didn't go through any of that.
Oh, really?
The only thing I did, I think they had that already wired up, but the only thing I did was the ADR that was adding my voice to scenes that they were showing me on the screen. You go into a booth, it's like a sound stage. They put the image up on the screen. You try and match your words to their lips, and then you do some off-camera stuff just to fill in the blanks wherever they need it.
Oh, okay, neat. That's yeah, because I guess, yeah, I understand. Yeah,
they had Kane all wired up for sure. I saw Thom on a green screen or something with all those wires all over his body.
Yeah, I thought that would have had to have happened for some of for all the characters because of your movements and stuff, but I guess not. Hey, these video game guys are just incredible geniuses, I guess.
They are. They are.
So now we come to Never Hike Alone, and we had Vincent DeSante on the film on the program. Sorry, what was it, Monday, the Friday after Friday the 13th, and we were
in Telluride, and we had the world premiere at the Telluride Horror Film Festival, which was a lot of fun. A great response, and he told me he was going to be on the following Monday, right after Friday the 13th. So that was awesome.
And yeah, no, and I was really excited. And I when I saw the movie, I'm going to tell you right now, Tom, I jumped out of my chair saying, "Yeah, baby, Thom Mathews, yes, son of a bitch, he's in." It was so great, and of course, the famous line, you know, "Remember me, Maggot Head?" Or, oh my God, it was so amazing that you got the chance to be in that, and tell everybody how that all came about. Now, I talked to Vincent obviously before, and I said, hey, you know, Tom's going to be on the show. Is it okay that we talk about it? Oh yeah, go ahead. Cat's out of the bag now. So, and a lot of people have seen it, but yeah, just tell everybody how that was, and how much fun it was to be back on a Friday project.
Well, it kind of happened in a weird way. I have a really good friend of mine who's a writer. His name's Mike Traeger. He's got a roommate, and she had a friend who's a huge Friday the 13th fan, and so he wanted to meet, and I said, of course I'll meet him, and, you know, we'll have dinner and stuff like that. And then he started telling me about Never Hike Alone, and they had shot the trailer, and they had probably, I don't know, maybe 35 minutes already done, or maybe 20 minutes, I don't remember. But he goes, wouldn't that be cool if you were in that? He goes, would you be open to do it? Because he was part of the Jumpstarter. And as you know, it's a fan-based film, so all the fans funded it. And I said, sure, I'd like to see the script and maybe talk to the director. So emailed the director, we connected, he sent me over the script. I said, yeah, I've got some ideas, and maybe we could, put me in there somehow. I didn't want to die. I didn't want Tommy Jarvis to die. I have the idea of possibly the very beginning of the movie, having me walk up in the frame with a newspaper or a duffel bag or something. You don't know who it is. Going to this camp or this town because there's a lot of deaths going on. And then when I get exposed, you see me with the newspaper or something. But I think we're gonna talk about doing that with the sequel of this one. So hopefully we'll get something going. But yeah, we talked about it. We kind of worked it out, what the dialogue should be, and it was a lot of fun. And we shot it locally over here in Big Bear over a weekend. And the kid in it's really, really, really good. The guy who plays Kyle, Andrew, he's really, really wonderful, and he's now part of the Friday the 13th family, and just great. The cast was great. Vincent was great. Played a lot of the Jason part in it, and it was just a lot of fun. It came out really, really well. I was really impressed with it. The guy's going to be a superstar. Vincent is going to be a superstar for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I'm excited that I'm all a part of you guys as well, because I don't know. Did you see? Oh my gosh, Kevin. Oh my God, he's gonna kill me right now. He was on the show. Kevin Phipps. I'm sorry, Kevin R. Phipps. I apologize, Kevin. He was. He had the preview of hosted Friday the 13th Part 3 3D. The documentary to Richard Brooker. Did you have a chance to see that?
Right. I didn't see it. No, I didn't see the documentary.
No. They had a. It was all going on at the same time. Friday 13th the Never Hike Alone was coming out, so they did that, and they invited me out to Hollywood to come out and see it out at the the red carpet ceremony and whatnot, and I couldn't go, but I'm telling you, man, it was so good. I mean, I know with the whole New Line and the whole thing with Friday the 13th, that the fans were kind of disappointed that there was nothing going. There was no new Friday coming out. The game was sufficient, I guess, enough for Friday fans, and the Never Hike Alone, man, that was man, oh man. When I talked to Tommy about it, Tommy McLaughlin, he just went and saw it for a second time. And the other night, so he was really excited about it, and yeah, it was the Never Hike Alone, man. It had that organic flavor, It was great. It brought us back.
It kind of took off 30 years later from where Part 6 left off at. I think
I would say so, absolutely. I would, yeah, for sure.
And I think that's where the franchise should have gone. It should have kept that going. That rivalry between Tommy Jarvis and Jason would have been there's something emotionally that the fans can walk into, is the Tommy Jarvis battling Jason.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, my thought on it, I don't know if I spoke to Adam Marcus about it or who I spoke to about it, but I said, you know what they should do is you're right. You guys should have been contained or put into some sort of like a psychiatric home where all the survivors are talking about Jason, but they're still haunted by the memory of Jason and just going over certain things. And then, it could have, anyway, there's a whole idea behind it that a lot of people speculations and what should have been, what could have been. But I'm going to agree with you because you were part 6 and then it carried over to Never Hike Alone. So sorry to New Line, but guys, you need to go talk to Vincent and get the rights and put that out. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Never Hike Alone has done so well. They just need to add another 20 minutes on the end of it, and then they have a full-length feature that they could even release if they wanted. Oh,
absolutely, absolutely. So I've got one question from the viewer. There was some questions here. Hang on now. Someone was talking about one of your movies that you've done, and I'm sorry, I'm just scrolling back here on the. Let's see. Someone said something about. Oh my goodness. You know what? There's so many people talking here, and in the feed that I'm trying to get to this one particular. I guess I can't find it, but that's okay. I apologize. These guys they were talking in the feed, and I'm like, oh no, I can't believe I should have jotted it down. But they were asking a question. My apologies. Anyway, let's just keep going here. I have 2 more questions for you. Friday the 13th. Okay. Friday the 13th. Did you have you watched them all? No. Okay.
No, I haven't.
And you watched you only watched part 6? Not even.
No, I watched 1 through 5.
Oh, okay.
6, and then I watched what was the one recently? Was it Michael Mann did it? Oh God.
Which one?
Was it Michael Mann? It was. I think it was done. Oh my God.
The original, the remake.
The remake, yes.
I'm drawing a blank too. I want to say.
It was at a camp, and I thought that one was really, well made as well. Again, I think it was a throwback to the '80s vibe. The campers and Jason and didn't have superpowers. And
was this the one where he's living in the bus underneath the ground?
No.
Okay. There was one where he's living underneath a bus and underneath the ground of the camp, and he gets a hold of one of the girls, and I don't know, she's in a jail. It's weird. I don't know. I can't remember which one. Oh, I don't remember. You know what? It's been a while since I've actually watched really any of them. I mean, the ones I really know the most are 1 through up to Jason Goes to Hell. Really, Jason X, and then the other ones after that. They're kind of a blur. Of course, Freddy versus Jason. That was a very interesting concept. I did an interview with Ken Kurtzinger and Robert Englund. That was a lot of fun. Those guys are wow. Those guys are. Robert Englund will talk your ear off. I love him so much. Yeah. So anyway, listen. You know what? You guys out there watching, thank you very much. I'm going to say, Tom, what have you got coming up? And do you have any more horror cons, Comic Cons that you're appearing at where anybody can come see you?
I've got one in May of 2018 in South Carolina. Days of the Dead, I think, and we're going to go out there and meet all the fans out there. It'll be a lot of fun. And then we're talking about carry on with the Never Hike Alone theme.
Awesome.
So talking to Vincent about that. We're trying to figure it out, see what the rights are, and kind of take it off from there because he did such a great job, and we got such a good response from all the fans, as it should be.
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah, because that would be good. You got a couple of the cast members go together at the cons, and you know, I mean, yeah, you're right. The response was unbelievable. So where can people find you on social medias, and unless you want people to find you?
I've got a fan page, that's Thom Mathews on Facebook. That's all I kind of do. And I don't really, you know, I have 3 kids, so that keeps me busy, and I've got my day job, which is my construction company out here in LA, and so that kind of gets me up in the morning and taking care of the kids, and my wife Carla, who's a great mom, and a couple of dogs. So we're very active out here. And, you know, pre-Halloween, we got Halloween tomorrow night. We get a lot of kids on the street, so we're looking forward to that.
You dressing up?
I won't be dressing up this year. I'll dress up sometimes if we go to a Halloween party, but they were all this weekend, and we were gone in New Jersey doing that, so that was the trade-off.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. And there was a success on the weekend, eh? It was a really good weekend for you?
Yeah, it was great. Everyone had a great time. The fans were great, and it's always fun for me to, you know, hear about whether it's Return of the Living Dead or Friday the 13th, how it impacted their lives and how they were first introduced into it. A lot of the fans, it was Friday the 13th Part 6 was their first horror film that they saw. And it's usually with the younger guys, it's usually when someone was babysitting them, like a cousin made them watch it, or the older brother made them watch it, you know, because they were way too young to watch it. I get a lot of that, but a lot of people approached me and for Return of the Living Dead, got them into makeup, being a makeup artist, and it's just great to hear everyone's story all the time.
Yeah, no, I saw an interview you did with a guy in Germany, and you really liked the fact that they had was it some of the stuff that was brought, the European stuff that was brought to you, packaging and all that kind of stuff, and you were kind of like you were like, wow, that's kind of wicked. You were telling the guy in the interview, that was really cool. Anyway, listen. From us here at Tribulation Studios and Rockin' Boxes Presents, we want to thank you very much, Tom, for the time that you spent with us. Sorry that you couldn't get on. Don't worry about it. Down the road, we will meet up and we'll do a sit down. We'll do a proper sit down. You know, thank you so much for being on Nights of Halloween Season 1. You ended it off with a bang, and I'm telling you, a lot of people out here they're just talking to one another, and they're loving. They were talking about Friday the 13th, and that you were questioning. Oh wait, did you keep? Oh, did you keep the denim jacket? Do you still have the denim jacket from?
I think I do.
Oh, there you go.
I have it. You know what? I made my son be dressed up as Tommy Jarvis, so I know we have a denim jacket for him, and the T-shirt. So yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. So Tampa J. Uh-oh, there we go. That's the sign. I'm getting the sign, guys. Halloween, Nights of Halloween. Guys, like I always say at the end of my videos, you guys be good to one another. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for an amazing interview, Tom. And a final word from Thom Mathews.
Everybody. Happy Halloween.
Woohoo! There you go. You guys were awesome. Love you guys. See you later.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.